Hey guys, it's me, Parker. Welcome to my channel. I'm doing a collective reading because we had a full moon in Gemini this morning, November 30th. It's not too late. I'm hoping I'll get this posted tonight, but if not, tomorrow. This is energy that's going to be playing out for a while. So even if you come across this in the future, it's huge energy right now. We have the North Node in Gemini, and that's kind of like the flavor of, you know, in an astrological sense of the energy that's affecting the collective as a whole and our purpose and what we're, you know, kind of evolving into and growing into, you know, collectively, and through our individual lives as well. So Gemini is the twins. It's the youngest air sign, very inquisitive, curious, playful energy. But they are the twins, right? You know, it's all about, Geminis can be very black and white, you know, they are a sign of polarity and duality and all that, but they're air, right? The youngest. So it's all about developing perspective. That's why they're so, like, a lot of people find Geminis to be very flighty, but that's just because they're constantly evolving in the mind and chasing down their curiosities. And it's interesting because, you know, we are in Sagittarius season right now, and that's the counterpart sign to, you know, the axis of Gemini, right? It's the seeker axis. Gemini seeks curiosities and fancies of the mind because it's, you know, it's the youngest air sign. It's learning. It wants to learn. It wants to find new perspectives and ways of communicating with others. Very social sign, whereas Sag is more of a kind of, can be kind of more of a loner because it's like with that axis, it's like Gemini's wanting to find the new ideas, meet the new people, you know, expand that perspective and ways of communicating and relating to the world around them through the mind. They're mercurial. Whereas Sagittarius would be like if the Gemini had gone and followed its fancies, and had all those experiences and found those changes in perspectives. That would be the Sag, right? Is kind of the opposite in that Saggies are truth seekers as well, but in the sense of philosophy, you know, they shoot from the heart because they're, you know, the oldest fire sign. It's like they've been there, they've followed those fancies. That's where they ended up, right? As the sage, they are wiser now, right? As the oldest fire sign. So yeah, it's very interesting. You know, of course, this full moon is touching on the collective energy big time because, you know, the North Node's all about purpose and execution of evolution on a collective and individual level. And Sagittarius is the South Node, what we're kind of moving away from, right? Past energy, right? Where we've been. And it's in Sag, so that's all about where we've been, right? We're honing in on new ways of being and communicating and relating to each other and even thinking, like, our perspectives and stuff. I did see the Hangman a lot. I won't be surprised if that comes out in the collective reading. I'm just going to pull the animals first and then clarify with tarot and the chakra. I'm probably going to read from both books for the animals and the chakra deck. Yeah, maybe I'll put a timestamp below if you're not interested in the current astrology. But yes, we also have Mercury moving into Sag tomorrow. If I don't get this posted till tomorrow, then today, the 1st. So it's that whole Gemini-Sag axis playing out. We've got the Sun in Sagittarius, the Moon in Gemini playing on this axis, right? Again, it's all about truth-seeking and wisdom and gaining wisdom and clarity with that air energy, right? So very nice. Sun and Mercury in Sag. And there's scorpionic energy that's aiding in this transformational energy as well. Eclipses. This is a full moon and eclipse. It's a partial lunar eclipse. Again, happened this morning on the 30th of November. But this is going to be affecting the next year as far as I'm concerned, big time, because that's in sync with wrapping up, you know, this North Node energy, you know, which will end around the time that the next eclipse, which is on June 10th, we have a new moon and solar eclipse in Gemini, and the sun will be in Gemini as well, right? So, and with full moons, it's all about wrapping things up so that new cycles can be birthed, you know, or cycles that have been birthed coming to culmination, right? So eclipses are huge. They eclipse things in and out of our lives. It's big shake-up energy, especially with this Gemini in the mind too, and ways of communicating and relating, like I said. But it's big energy, and it's going to be with us until, you know, the next eclipse in June in Gemini. And Gemini, new moon and sun in Gemini and North Node. So it's very intense. So we'll see what comes out. Ooh, Fox. I love that. It's like, it's very Gemini in energy. We'll see if that comes out. That would be awesome if it did. I honestly, like, I've had this deck for a couple months now, and I use it for the readings. I don't do that many personal, like, readings for me anymore. Oh, I saw that too. That might come out. But I'm starting to get a feel now for, like, which cards for me relate to which signs. Definitely Fox is a Gemini card for me. For sure. Like, it would be my Gemini card in this deck, probably. Just because they're very witty and they, you know, yeah. They can be sly in shadow energy, but they can also just be like, I wanted to say making gains, but like they can use their wittiness to work around situations or be darty like the Fox, like a Gemini, you know, and it's very, they can be very playful, you know, so one more shuffle and we'll see what comes out. I did see this when I was shuffling as well. That's all about networking. So let's see. Collective reading for the full moon in Gemini and lunar eclipse. What is up? Oh, that was fast. Ooh. I kind of love it. Okay. Wow, I kind of knew that was going to come out. Okay, interesting. So 4 came out. That's a lot. I might not read from the cards. I might from the book. I might cherry pick from the book. Just little phrases that are sticking out to me. Bear. This is the first card in the entire deck. And what was I saying about that transformational scorpionic energy that's aiding with this North Node energy? And again, Gemini, curious energy. They're always, you know, it's the seeking axis, right? This is like waking from slumber. Think of the bear, right? The bear hibernates in winter. There is, like, in this card, it kind of references a reluctance on the part of the bear until it's, you know, kind of thaws out and warms up and gets going and starts eating and stuff. So I will, like, cherry pick from the book on that one. Bears also are, like, quite territorial. They're, you know, they're a bear. You don't want to screw with them. Not from the book, like, her interpretation, but just bear energy in general. They can be quite protective, you know, but they can also be quite sweet, you know, in that they're gentle giants sometimes, or they can completely eat you. So I'll read the book on that one. Element of Earth, earthy energy. Panther, ooh, this is the eclipse as far as I'm concerned. Element of Fire, it's a stripping energy, so that eclipse energy of eclipsing things in and out, big shakeups. With that bear energy, I'm curious to see what comes out with that. But yeah, this is like big shakeup and stripping energy. It's literally that eclipse energy I was talking about. So we'll get more into that when I read it. Kind of already, I'm getting like this bear is coming out of hibernation, like waiting on coming out into springtime for this purging to happen, right? The purging happens and then the bear continues on and comes out of hibernation. That's kind of what I'm getting with this energy. So I'll clarify the panther first because that feels like the eclipse itself, what's being changed up here. And then the bear is kind of moving forward in a new spring after that, right? And then we have the buffalo. Buffalo is very humble, wise, sure of itself. but abundant energy. Think of a buffalo. Think of Native Americans, how, you know, they used all parts of it. It was a gift, really. It's very abundant energy, but it's also very steadfast, and steadfast in the sense of, like, think of a buffalo's hooves, very connected to the earth, right? And there's a knowing with the buffalo, but there's a lightning there, right? So buffaloes are so grounded, but they're also grounded in spirituality. It's like a spiritually humble or abundant or just plugging along energy. So we'll read a bit of that. That's earth, more earth. And then we have peacock. Peacock is all about compassion. So referring to that, you know, with this purging energy, we're going to be moving into a new dawn, a new spring for a lot of us. And this is all about, you know, stepping into that. You know, we're going to be having new experiences with people. You know, after this eclipse, a lot of our lives are going to look very, very different. And that, you know, a lot of the times that plays out in relationships and how we come across and relate to other people. Like I was saying, the peacock's all about that. It's a peacock, right? Like, it's very showy, but the peacock is actually, it's the element of air, just like Gemini, this full moon energy, but it's all about like the outer stunningness. That's not really a word. You know, it's exquisite, but it's actually coming from within with that compassion energy. This is a card of relating to other people, but through compassion, and that's why the peacock is so gorgeous, because it's actually coming from inside with that compassion. And that heart space, oh wow, beautiful energy on the bottom. Wow, interesting. Okay, we have we have a bit of an isolated energy here. The Scorpion is kind of a loner. I'm actually kind of feeling that, like the Sag energy of this part of the axis, element of fire. It can be kind of a loner. Sagittarius can be quite the lonely sage, right? They just go off and do whatever their heart desires, right? Eagle talks of divine knowledge, transformational in the karmic sense, element of air. Again, that eclipse energy, look at the sun, right? It's like the eagle is holding. Again, some of these things that are being stripped away here, it is going to require compassion, because there's with the stinger of the Scorpion is a loner, or tends to want to be, because it's been burned in the past, right? Speaking to that compassion energy, right? And moving past that with the bear energy when this stripping happens, you know, holding on. Eagle flies close to the sun. It carries divine knowledge. It's like the bringer of divine truth, bearer of, you know, with that transformational panther energy, it's holding that truth, right? And then we have this really, 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 really beautiful energy on the bottom. Wow. In this deck, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck by Kim Kranz, the animals are classified by elements, and then there is the fifth element, which is ether, spirit, or our connection to spirit through the 7 chakras in our body, right? Our vessel connected to spirit, ether. This one's the heart chakra, and then there's deer, more earth energy. There's a lot of earth here. There's fire, and there's air. There's no water, none whatsoever. So speaking to compassion, I think this might just be all about the mind and reframing perspectives here. We'll see both the deer and the peacock speak to compassion, and this is the heart space. It's not water directly, but water is our emotions, our feels, our waters run deep, right? So even though water's not present here, I am feeling water energy with this. The heart chakra, the heart space, and that compassion relating from the peacock and the deer, but this is divine feminine energy. So we have masculine and feminine energy within us, right? With that stinger and the truth energy with the eagle, it could be a truth relating to how you perceive something in your heart space, how you receive this eclipse energy, because that's what the feminine does. Feminine of earth energy, divine feminine. So again, we all have feminine energy within us. It's just the parts of us that like nurture our creativity and ourself and others. How we receive things with compassion and gratitude, right? But very beautiful energy this is. So I think the divine feminine is really being highlighted for whatever reason. We'll continue to clarify, but yes, divine feminine of earth energy in the heart space. That's really nice energy, because this is, you know, I'm actually going to read a bit from the deer and then I'll touch on all these. Or maybe I'll go one by one. Just really quick, because I know this is going to be a two-parter. I am going to figure out how to stitch my videos, but I'm not doing that right now. It's just going to be a long two-parter. Sorry, guys. Feminine aspects of earth energy. So there's all that earth energy. Yeah. Available to all creatures, again, present within us, but it does play out in our external relationships, right? So feminines around you are going to be highlighting this energy for you, probably. You know, we'll see. I'll start clarifying, regardless of gender. Especially potent in new parents. Ooh, with that bear energy, very interesting. Parent of your new life after this purging with this eclipse energy. That's how I'm taking that. The first few days, yeah. So again, that spring energy, that recovering, stepping out of hibernation, like with that Panther eclipse energy, recovery, right? Fully present, nurturing, and calm. Inner beauty radiates and a sense of grace calms the room. Again, with that peacock energy, right? And really owning it with that buffalo energy. But it's all about allowing this eclipse energy to, receiving this eclipse energy with compassion, moving forward. Calms the room. Very interesting. I do feel very calm right now, I'm just saying. Birth or celebration of new life, or when a situation calls for absolute gentleness and compassion. That's funny, because I was picking up on that with the bear, too. And there's a humble, kind of quiet gentleness about the buffalo as well, even though it is such a beast. In the heart space, right? Heart space. Interesting. There's probably going to be a need for grounding at this time with this energy, just because there's so much air energy going on, right? So let's look at the Panther. I'll briefly read a tiny bit to you guys about that. Panther. It's such a badass card. Won't stand to see growth or energy stagnate, right? So, you know, eclipse energy. Annihilation of the unnecessary, purging. Again, some of you are going to take this hard, or the people around you are. That could be depending on how this is delivered or received. So again, the compassion. Pounces into our lives and causes havoc. Some of you that are struggling with this energy, particularly if you have a lot of Gemini or Sag in your chart, you're going to be affected big time. I have a Gem moon, so that's why I was like, oh, I gotta do a reading for this. I actually have a moon and stellium, so yeah, it's very fitting to do a collective for this. But anyways, more fulfilling lives with the buffalo, right? We've all been through these experiences and they've made us better people. Trust that the Panther's journey always leads to a brighter place. Stepping into spring, right? Okay, so let's look at the Panther. How is that going to look for most of us? It's going to vary. Ooh, self-worth is being highlighted here with that peacock, compassionate, receptive energy. You know, this might be very vague because I'm reading for the collective, how it's going to resonate in your life, and if it doesn't, that's okay. It's going to look differently, so just take it however it resonates, right? And if it doesn't, don't claim it. One more shuffle. Panther. Ooh, look at those eyes. It's so funny too. Oh, you guys might be getting something like stripped energetically from your heart space here. Because I'm just seeing the eyes. It's the heart chakra here. Again, this is the heart chakra. Look how green it is. And that's the color of the heart chakra. And it's looking right at the heart space there. It feels like energetic purging in the heart space. That's going to manifest either as a realization or people being stripped from your life, or you removing yourself from people in your life. Or letting go, acceptance, of resolving energies that are lingering in the heart space. Like that panther is like eyeing down the heart chakra and he's like, it's gotta go. So that this can happen. That sun, look, the sun of the new spring is the panther's eye. It's shaped like an eye. So the panther is purging and then the bear is coming out of hibernation. Wow. That's kind of cool. I like that message. All right. Why the panther? Why the panther, Spirit? There's an impasse here. For some of you, it could be a blockage in your heart chakra. Rose quartz will help big time. I go like this with it. Or I just lay, close my eyes and meditate with it on my chest. But it does wonders. I could definitely see, because again, with the Gemini energy, it's all mental and mercurial, right? And there's all this transformational energy happening, right? But the mind and the heart, you know, connect. And that's where we manifest from. That's where we lead from, right? So the mind, that Gemini aspect, and then the heart, Sag, shooting from the heart, the centaur, right? Shoots his bow and arrow and follows in that direction, the traveler, right? Anyways, I'm rambling because I know I have a lot of time. Tell me about the panther. Whoa, okay. Isolation. Ooh, I saw this when I was shuffling and it really stuck out to me. Isolation. Wow. This is, it actually has an invitation on there. So it's, you know, an invitation to, you know, with this reading, I'm kind of just getting, like, again, Gemini is very social energy. I mean, we are, like, heading back into lockdown, unfortunately, you know, but we're not going to be in lockdown forever, right? And for the collective, you know, this looks like people having been in isolation, and they're doing this purging, and they're seeing this new beginning. When it's time to step into it, you know, it's an invitation to become the best version of ourselves with that peacock energy, right? Isolation, I'm curious to see why this is coming out. Again, with everything that's going on in the world, the isolation is eating this scorpionic energy in these purges that are happening, right? People are coming to these realizations with this Gemini energy, right? Of where they want to shoot with their bow, or where they've been, or where they don't want to be anymore. And it's coming from the heart space, right? So if we're not very connected to the heart space, that's going to manifest in terms of like a manic mind with all this Gemini energy, because we're trying to process everything through the mind when, you know, it's like this is like being received, this transformational energy in the heart space, right? They are connected. Isolation, very interesting. That's communication. Again, with that peacock, compassionate, deer energy and how this is received or given. It's lessons, truths regarding the heart space. And this is communication. It's the throat chakra. So, okay, let's clarify with, oh, there's instinct, and there's that impasse energy on the bottom. Again, cyclical energy, completion, right? With that full moon energy, that's all about cycles culminating and coming to completion, right? So that new ones can start with that bear energy. Instinct. Listening to the heart space. What is your heart telling you? And here, you know, it's like being in isolation or taking time away from people to figure out your stuff maybe, or this is getting stripped from your life, Panther style, and now you feel very isolated, right? And you're realizing there's these impasses about your heart space here, because remember how I said impasse? This is like I'm feeling that. I don't know if I said that out loud. I think I did, because I cut to it. See that moon cycle in the background? There's a moon in both of those. Wow. Full moon in both. And I do get Gemini off this card too, because it's instinct, right? Geminis can be very instinctual, right? Because they're very curious and adaptable sign, right? I often get wolf kind of energy for Geminis. I don't know why, just for me personally. Maybe it's because I'm a Gem Stallion. I don't know why, but that resonates for me personally. But there's two heads there, right? Two heads there. Yeah. So let's look at this isolation energy. For some of you too, I'm getting two storylines now for some of you too, because I just saw the Three of Cups, which is very social energy. It's like celebrating with your tribe, your friends, drinking, living the good life. This is invitation. So for some of you, you've been feeling very isolated, and this instinct is speaking to an invitation to get gussied up or be your best self, maybe finding your tribe, because instinct with those wolves, wolves are very like a pack. They, you know, I don't want to say pack as in like, ooh, pack mentality, because that's not it. It's more like a tribe with wolves. Yes, they call them packs, but they are like familial, and they have like, you know, a leader that protects the pack, and looks out for their best interest, you know. Though they are